Welcome to Primary Scene. I'm Alice Alexander, and welcome to day 2 of FrightFest, where we will be talking to the minds behind the films that will be scaring you this fall. Can you please tell us a little bit more about it and, just everything?
Jerusalem tells a story about two American tourists who come to the old city of Jerusalem as backpackers traveling around the city. They meet a local guy and another American tourist, and this weird stuff starting to happen around them. And it turns out to be Yom Kippur, the Jewish Judgment Day, and eventually on the evening of this Judgment Day. The apocalypse starts, and they find themselves stuck inside the old city trying to get out. So that's in a nutshell.
Okay, and I guess working in such a beautiful city, what was it, I guess, was there any difficulties or, I mean, I'm sure it just added to the atmosphere, but what were the difficulties that you guys faced?
There were a lot.
There were many difficulties, of course, but there were also advantages because we shot on location, which is, of course, very difficult. You can't really control everything, but we try to keep it as low profile as possible. We used small cameras and not a lot of crew at some of the scenes, and in this method we were able to shoot in the most holiest places in the old city. We didn't need to close anything. There were no police around us. We just shot scenes in the Holy Sepulchre and the Via Dolorosa and the Wailing Wall and the really most religious places for all three religions.
It was very important for us to bring the roughness to the real city, not the one you see on postcards and National Geographic, just the real Jerusalem. So we had to shoot in these authentic places.
What was the inspiration for creating just piloting this film?
Well, for many years we had this idea of shooting a film which is a point of view film. Because especially for the horror genre, a point of view film is such a strong tool because everyone looks straight at the camera and what happens to the main character, the audience feels like it happens to them. But still, something was missing. And then a few years ago, when everyone started to talk about the wearable technology, about the smart glass, like Google Glass, we understand that this is our bingo. And so the entire film is shot as a point of view of a smart glass.
Which always gives you a tool to add another technological layer on this frame. We use the social media stuff and Facebook and Instagram as part of our storytelling in this movie. So it's a nice tool.
It seems like the scenes with the point of view, like they provided some, humorous aspects to the film. Do you feel that contributed to, creating a little bit more of a lighter atmosphere to send the viewer on a bit of a roller coaster between kind of the horror and...
Right, definitely. We wanted the audience to laugh with the characters at the beginning of the movie, so they can be scared with them at the end of the movie. That's one. So it was important for us to combine these comic reliefs, and the atmosphere starts very light and slowly go darker.
And we think that genre film, especially horror films, it's all about fun at the end. So making the audience laugh and making them scare, of course, it's the most important things you can do as a director.
How important was it for you guys to kind of stay traditional to the biblical kind of idea of the Judgment Day, or did you guys want to create something that was entirely your own?
It's not. It's based on through mythology. Actually, when we start researching about this subject, you found this quote who says there are 3 gates to hell: one in Jerusalem, one in the desert, one in the ocean. And for us, it was a bingo because this is what this story is about. If the apocalypse will ever start, it will start in Jerusalem. This is the gate. So we researched a lot about it.
I don't suppose the next films will take part in the ocean.
A trilogy, one in the ocean. Yeah. Could be funny.
And I guess what was the inspiration and that really just drew you towards taking part in the film?
Again?
What was it that just kind of captivated you to take part in it?
I think it's a combination of, I think what really excited us about this subject as a whole is dealing with religion as religion, not a specific one, but what people believe and how they act to this sacred city of Jerusalem. There's so many, it's holy for so many religions and so many people in the world. So dealing with this subject made us really. It was a dramatic engine for us to deal with it.
And you know, religious people believes that on Yom Kippur, on Judgment Day, the skies opens up and God judges everyone. So it was interesting to us to ask what happens if it's not the skies that open up, it's the ground. And what happens if the ground opens up on Judgment Day and the apocalypse starts? So it was a very big question that we asked ourselves, and that's what stands behind this film. Yeah.
When it comes to special effects, did you guys face any difficulties with that, or was it? Yeah.
You always face difficulties when you do special effects, but it's getting in the last few years getting more and more accessible and even cheaper to do. We had an amazing industry in Israel, talented guys, CG artists who did it. We combined practical effects with CG. It was very important us to feel the realistic of the practical effects and combine it with CG. And the guys in Israel did a great job for us.
Yeah, I agree. This time I agree.
This is an incredibly busy week for you then.
Yeah, well, it's a busy week. It's been a crazy ride in Sundance because Turbo Kid was in Sundance, and we played in South by Southwest, and we've been going from one festival to another. And Jerusalem premiered in Fantasia, so it's been a crazy summer for us too.
Oh, that's amazing! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you please tell us a little bit more about this film in particular?
Which one you want to go first?
Jerusalem.
So Jerusalem is a film that was shot in Israel, but speaking English. It's about 3 American tourists, 2 girls that meet a guy. He's like a handsome, mysterious guy, and he convinced them to go to Jerusalem. And it's Yom Kippur, which is a Jewish holiday that's called Judgment Day. And the apocalypse happened to happen on their trip. So they're caught literally in the wrong place in the wrong time.
I guess right now we're more particularly focused on Jerusalem itself, but can you tell us a little bit more about the other films that you're involved in?
Yeah, we premiered here yesterday Turbo Kid, which been in Sundance, and Lionsgate is releasing it here in the UK in September, I believe, end of September. That's been going great, and we're closing the festival with Tales of Halloween, which is a horror anthology with people like Neil Marshall, who's a resident here, and Axel Caroline. And we have great people like Lynn Shay, and I think Barbara Crampton is here because she has another film called We Are Here. We're Still Here, so yeah, it's a one big kind of horror family.
And you've done a little bit of acting, correct?
And which one?
I believe it was Halloween?
Yeah, I produced Tales of Halloween, Jerusalem, and Turbo Kid. So executive producer on Turbo Kid and Jerusalem, and producer on Tales of Halloween.
How do you feel? Does it give you kind of like a unique perspective to, I guess, to produce so many films and just have it all in one go?
Well, we love genre and we love horror. So we're here in FrightFest every year. We had movies here. I'm trying to think. I think first movie I was involved with called Blood River by Adam Mason, who's a UK director. That was maybe 2005 or 6. And since then, every year we have movies here. We had VHS here. We had, I think, Devil's Chair, which is another Adam Mason film. We play here movies every year, so we love coming to FrightFest. We love coming to London. I think the audience here is just incredible. There are people that we see every year coming. I'm sorry, am I spitting on you? I'm gonna wipe the microphone. I'm gonna edit it out. So we love the audience here. We love the London crowd. They're big lovers of genre. I think Tales of Halloween is a great closer because it has about 18 names in the horror genre, so it's almost like a trivia. We have anybody from John Landis and Lynn Shay and I know I'm blanking right now, but anybody from the old the icons of horror, and new people like Grace Phipps from Fright Night, and Gear from It Follows, and Pat Healy from Cheap Thrills. So it's a combination of the classic horror and the new upcoming horror, and it's a film that came from the horror community in LA. So I think it's great to bring that community to this community. So I'm hoping to see some familiar faces here in the crowd too on Monday night.
Well, we're very fortunate to have you guys here, and in particular with Jerusalem. What drew you to working on the film, or what just kind of what was it that made? Yeah, so Jerusalem started with the Paz brothers. It was their baby, and they actually shot a few days and made the sizzle reel.
And really, we fell in love with the brothers. They've been working together. They're third-generation entertainers. Their dad is a director. Their grandfather used to do theaters in Israel. So the third-generation entertainer. They're working together. They're producing and directing their own movies. And they got married around the same time. Both had the baby at the same time. If you meet them, and I'm sure you're gonna meet them, in a few minutes, you can't say no to them. So we like them. We like the vision. For us, it's really about the people, and people want to support. And it seems to be a great formula because the movies turn out great, and we're here touring the world and bringing it to audience everywhere.
What was it like shooting on such amazing locations?
So Jerusalem there is really no other way to call it beside maybe a pressure cooker. There is a lot of forces there. There is the Jewish quarter, the Armenian quarter, the Muslim quarter, and there's a lot of religious places. So there's a lot of different police and organizations that deal with a lot. So we did a bit of guerrilla in a lot of places. Some places were a documentary, but it was really important for the directors. Their vision was to get the point of view of a tourist in the city, because most people know the city is either from the news or from postcards, and they want to show the actual underground, the clubs, the religious people from the religious areas from the inside. So they really took this point of view of tourists going to the city, and they added the genre on top of it, so it made something very cool and very special.
So I guess working through the politics were primarily your difficulties in shooting the film then?
I wouldn't call it difficulties. I think all movies are challenging. It was a challenge like anything else, and it's a POV movie, so the camera and the actors were kind of the same place, and we had to build a special rig for the entire thing, and we had great DP working on that, so it was a combination of a very old city and very high technology working together. But it's always fun. It's always hard and tired on the days, and the Paz brothers really worked day and night because they're also producing this, and they're a great team, and in the end, it's all on screen. So hopefully people will like it.
When it comes to the theme of the film itself, how close did you want to stay with the traditional biblical Judgment Day, or did you guys want to tailor it to something a little bit more of your own?
So it's a good question. The genre and the horror genre in Israel is not very much developed. It's really coming out now, recently. So the movie everybody knows, Big Bad Ruth, that played here, I believe, 2 years ago, last year, and Rabies before that, and Yael Goldblass from Jerusalem. She also had a small part in Rabies, and it's a community of young directors and writers and filmmakers that working on genre in Israel. Mainly Israel is more known for drama and documentaries and political movies, and I think it's very exciting that now they're taking all the movies that they liked and were watching growing up, and now they kind of make it on their own, and the directors taking their own kind of point of view and their own vision and spin on them and make them local and authentic, and I think it comes out on screen. So it's great. It's very exciting for me personally, and I hope it's going to be very exciting for the fans too.
There's a couple of scenes that are a little bit more humorous and uplifting, like the point of view cameras, shots. Do you feel that kind of adds to the atmosphere where it just lightens the mood and kind of sends the viewer on a little bit of a roller coaster?
Yeah, I think it's very important. When you make horror films, you need to have some humor in it, and there is one particular character who is just hilarious. He's the hostel host. He's a Muslim guy that kind of showing them around town and showing all the parties, and he's a big party guy. And also, because the way it was shot, there is this another tool of the glasses. So there's something between the audience and the actual action. So there's another layer that the director uses a tool to bring more information and to bring laughs and to set up a lot of things. So I think it's very important, and they played really well the humor side of it with the thrill and with the scary parts.